What's up, team? All right. Getting down from my soapbox after yesterday with the inflation confirmation from the one and only Warren Buffett. And today, more confirmation of inflation. So a lot of people have been asking me about it. Like, so what should I do? You know, okay, you're telling me there's inflation, but what should I do? Like, what should I do with my savings? What should I do with my stocks? What should I do with my real estate? Should I buy more of it? Like, what should you do if there's inflation? So I will get to that because I know that's a question that's been up there a lot. People are like, okay, we get it, Derrick. You've been talking about inflation for months. Finally, we're seeing it. Buffett acknowledges it today. Government officials acknowledge it. But what do we do? So we will talk about that. Derrick Evans here, VA Home Loan Specialist, NMLS 155010. Call or text me if you want to buy a refi using your VA Home Loan benefit. Okay, let's take a look at interest rates. We got another good lock day today. So again, we're right here. Quick reminder. Mortgage bonds go down, interest rates go up. Mortgage bonds go up, interest rates go down. So we're sort of rooting for bonds to continue to go higher here. We've hit this seeming ceiling here. It looks as though, now these Fibonacci's are not 100% guaranteed to be accurate, okay? But they're close. So we could be on the line and not quite. It looks like we've closed above. If we have, we'll find out tomorrow, because we should see some action up in this range here, if that's the case. But we're just so another good lock day, right at the top of resistance. I was screaming yesterday, lock. Pricing out today, basically the same. Pretty much did the same thing it did yesterday. Finished in the green. Look at all these green candles. Even though price actually been going down, lots of green candles, which signals manipulation. We know this is being manipulated. It doesn't matter. It's being manipulated in our favor, so we don't care, right? Hey, it's being manipulated in your favor, so it's not a bad thing. Not true. But that said, another good day for locking. We just need to see what's going to happen with this level right here, though, before we can know what the next step is. People are like, well, aren't you going to be mad if you tell everyone to lock and it goes up and keeps running high? No, I'll be ecstatic if rates go lower. Won't you? That'd be great. What would suck is if this craters, which it could do in one day, this is totally artificial, and then people get caught holding the bag, your floating loans, and people get absolutely scorched as a result of it. You know, that would suck. So that is something that I don't want to ever see happen. And it's good to be conservative when you're locking, especially when you have float down options. So what has been said today, Derrick? All right, let's go and take a look. Well, you know what? Before we get to that, look at that. It's on the front page. Take a quick look at the markets. Down pretty much flat. S&P down tad. NASDAQ, big sell-off in tech. Cathie Wood's ETF, ARC, Innovation, been really, really killed. Down 30% from the top. So you're seeing some sell-off here. Listen, there's just a lot of fluff in some of these stocks, especially the tech stocks. Tons of fluff. And when you get through earnings season, a lot of times you're expecting a good quarter. It's buy the rumor, sell the news. We're expecting a good quarter, buy Tesla, buy Amazon, whatever the stock is. Comes out, good quarter, sell it. Because where's the good news now? Is a quarter away? You know, there's no way to know when the next catalyst is to get excited about. So, and it says right here on the front page, actually, this is a different agenda. Gosh, get your foot out your mouth, Janet. What are you doing? Here's another quote from her. Yellen says, U.S. pushing to end global race to the bottom on corporate taxes. What's she talking about? What is the race to the bottom? Well, different countries offering different corporate tax rates to try to get businesses to move there. That's the race to the bottom. It's called competition, called capitalism. It's called a free market. Are you against that stuff, Janet? You got a problem with that? Maybe the United States should be a leader in this regard and look at the insane opportunity. Everyone already wants to come here. If we had the lowest global tax rate or corporate tax rate on the globe, imagine what a boom that would cause for our country. So this is a different foot in her mouth. The one I was going to bring up, she just needs to be quiet. She says rates may have to rise to keep the economy from overheating. Now, she's Treasury Secretary now. She is not, the Fed chairman any longer, as she was under Obama. But she says she's definitely understands the rate game. She understands inflation, that's for sure. So here's your confirmation. Because there is absolutely no reason to say this if it's not true. In other words, her saying this doesn't help level things out. And sometimes politicians will say things because they'll know. Like previously, Yellen has said Bitcoin is unstable and it crashes 10%. Sometimes there's things you can say things and maybe you mean it or you don't, but it causes certain things to happen. So you're saying it. Politicians do this all the time. In this case, there's absolutely no benefit to saying that rates may have to rise. And when you say rates may have to rise, what that means is we may have to stop artificially suppressing rates. So it's not that the government would have to do something to make rates go up. They would just have to stop doing stuff that they're doing. That is much easier to do. If I was to tell you that, okay, hey, we're spending $10 billion a day to keep rates where they are. Wow. Okay, so how do we stop that? Just stop doing it. You don't need to pass a law. You don't need anyone's permission. The Fed has that kind of leeway. Now, how much influence does Yellen have with the Fed? I imagine quite a bit, don't you? She's the Treasury Secretary, but the Fed is supposed to be independent. It's supposed to be non-political. We all know that's horse hockey. So what does this mean? Does this mean the buyback? If it does, then the cratering that I was talking about, this, you can count on it. It's guaranteed. So I'm telling you, lock your rate. Inflation is here. Inflation is bad for bonds. Former Fed Chair, current Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen just said rates may have to rise to keep the economy from overheating. What does that mean? The economy from overheating. To keep the economy from overheating. Let's translate that to keep inflation, rampant hyperinflation in check to some degree. Remember, what I'm telling you is that we have rampant hyperinflation, not just a lot of inflation, rampant hyperinflation, which means that it's actually compounding upon itself. It's not linear, it's parabolic. It's the bad kind, really, really bad. Even raising rates 1% isn't going to do anything to this. I mean, we need that kind of drastic action. I don't know what's going to happen next, team. I can tell you this, though. Expect real estate to go higher, Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies to go much, much higher. I actually even think gold probably will go higher at some point. Remember, a lot of the graybeards, a lot of the, let's call them baby boomers, they believe everything they read in the newspaper. Okay, and this is where a lot of the money is held. And the newspaper's not talking about inflation yet. It will be soon, as you can see. There's more and more headlines. Warren Buffett, now Treasury Secretary. You're going to continue to see this unfold by real estate, by Bitcoin, just my opinion, not financial advice. And look at other hedges against inflation, which there are a lot of different ideas on this. I'll let you do your own research. I've told you what I like. Also, we've also been tracking oil, which we expect to get to 100 and up to 66. Just keeps going up. Tick, tick, tick. Gold, decent, 1777. Silver. A lot of people are telling me about silver. It's all about silver. Go all in on silver. Hell no. You can go all in on silver if you want to. What are you going to do? Throw it at somebody? Like, I don't understand the gold or silver thing at all. Never have. Oil, I do understand. There's such a functional necessity for oil. So many functional necessities for oil. There's really no functional necessity at all for gold or silver. Now, some people say, oh, well, you can use gold to do different things. It's a conductor. You can do this, you can do that. There's cheaper alternatives that do the same thing just as efficiently, though. So really, I think those markets are actually primed for crashes, believe it or not. I know, sounds weird. It's like you can't buy any physical stuff because Wall Street oversold the physical amount of gold and silver a long time ago. Guys, it's Wall Street we're talking about here. Remember when they did that with mortgages and it crashed the whole market? They've done it with gold and silver, and they've been doing it for a long, long time. That's why you can't find any physical silver or gold, but you also, the price goes down. How could that be? How can it be that you can't go to one of those little gold shops, in the mall, little street thing, and you say, hey, can I get some gold? And they're like, we don't have going to get gold. Go and try to find some actual gold. You can't find it, but the price is going down, or it's flat. It hasn't been great. Let's put it that way. It's gone down over the course of the last few months. I'll pull it up just so you don't have to take my word for it. I mean, there's the 1 year chart. Look at that. From August. In August, it was just under 2,100. Now we're under 1,800. How could that be if there's no supply? Well, it's because smart money knows there's been way more gold sold than there is gold. Good. I hope you don't get caught holding that bag. That's all I'm saying. I really hope. I pray that you don't, because it's not going to be fun. So let's see. What else we're going to talk about today? So we have inflation. We have recognition of it. Janet Yellen has put her foot in her mouth a bunch today. I appreciate the honesty, though. But there's some things that's not wise to say, like the one we just caught on to that was on the front page of CNBC when we went here and looked. U.S. pushing to end the global race to the bottom on corporate taxes is not a good pro-growth, pro-business stance. It's terrible, actually, and it won't help anything. So what we have to do in this particular time, because we're about to see an unprecedented situation, team. We're about to see a situation where I don't know that we've ever seen anything like this in the United States. And I don't think we can compare instances in other countries where we've seen this type of inflation before, but I can tell you this. Through periods of inflation that weren't as bad as this is about to be, it was good. It was good to hold gold and be an owner of gold. It was good to own real estate and to buy real estate during those periods. I think you can trust real estate long term. Again, use case. We're talking about gold, silver. I always make the joke, what are you going to throw it at someone? What's the use case? The use case for real estate is simple, obvious, and necessity for everyone. Some people might say, well, you're talking about Bitcoin, Derrick. What's the use case there? Store of value, limited quantity, the perfect currency. That's what it is. Okay, I know a lot of people don't get it yet. You will, though. You will eventually understand. You'll see. I'm not going to try to convince you. I know, and my bets are placed. So what happens then? What do we do? This is where I'm getting to. What do you do if cash is trash? What do you do if rampant hyperinflation is going to go unchecked for potentially a year, 2 years? This government is going to be very slow to move on something like this. They don't really get this. Janet Yellen is probably the person who gets it the most. The Fed is just hiding it. They're hiding it beneath their bow ties and their charts and their data. They're going, oh, well, if we move this over here, it doesn't look that bad. That's funny accounting. Companies get, fined for that. Companies go under for that. That's Enron stuff. Funny accounting with the Fed? Most important thing you can do is make safe bets. Cash is not a really safe bet. Real estate's a safer bet. No question. Real estate's a way safer bet. I don't want to sit here and say that cryptocurrency is a safer bet. It's hard to say that out loud. But honestly, it's more of a free market than stocks. There's still some stocks I really like. Hey, how about those ones I told you about? Should we go back and look and see how much those have gone up? Very, very simple stuff. ExxonMobil, Chevron, IBM, AT&T, Verizon. I think Verizon might be the only one that's somewhat flat since I told you about the 5 stocks I was in. The rest of them all higher. Big dividends. If anyone who owns AT&T, you just got your dividend yesterday. Give me my money. Hey, listen, the great thing about those big corporate stocks is that in this environment, in an inflationary environment, in a highly political White House administration environment, in an environment where money's cheap, they could borrow as much as they want. They have cash. They're paying out big dividends. Those companies are going to be fine. If you can get 5, 6, 7% dividend compounding, they're paying those out to you, and just have it compound. Go right into buy more stock immediately. You can get some really nice and comfortable returns on those, and those are all companies that you can feel comfortable buying more of if shares go down. And so for people who are a little bit more of the old school, or who want to know what to do with stocks or with money that might be parked in, let's say, a savings account or something like that, well, those 5 names right there, that's where I'm at. Not saying you should buy it. That's up to you. But I pulled the trigger on it. Shortly after the election, team, oil will go higher. You can almost count on it, especially as economies open up. I mean, it's going to go. Will it get to 100? I think so. Maybe not, but I think it will. So then what else do you do? So let's say, what if I already own my own home and, should I buy an investment property? Don't let the circumstances of the market make that decision. You make that decision based on whether you're ready to do that. So I go, oh, well, inflation is here. We should buy a property. Well, then what happens when inflation gets tame? You going to sell it? What if you're wrong? So don't do it for that reason. Make long-term bets right here. Long-term bets. Don't chase the short-term dollar. Look at how can you be a little more thrifty with your budget? That's always a good idea to recalibrate that. Always a good idea to recalibrate that. Can you save more money? Okay, on a monthly basis. Now, because if you can save more, it makes it easier to diversify your savings. If you have $50,000 in your savings account, but you can manipulate your budget so that you can save an extra $1,000 a month, it makes it easier for you to take money out of that savings account and start diversifying it in other investments. By the way, if you want to buy real estate and you can't, let's say you have a 300 credit score, okay, and you want to own real estate. This is commercial real estate. O, the letter O. This is going to become a Sesame Street program. Realty Income Corp. This company, oh man, I knew it. Super awesome buy opportunity recently. I almost pulled the trigger on it. It's $70. So this company just made the list. Motley Fool does a really cool dividend list. And they call them, I can't remember what it's called, like Epic, whatever, Rockstar, because this particular company, which is a realty trust, commercial real estate, has paid their dividend now for, this is not a typo, for 25 years. 25 years. They have paid their dividend every quarter without fail. There's also a history of their dividend increasing. So, listen, if you want to buy real estate and you still get like all of the benefits of owning commercial real estate are locked into this whole deal. Like all the the write-offs and all those elements are built into the REIT. So you get those benefits via the price and essentially the net income of the REIT. So you get all the benefits of owning real estate with this, but you only need $70 and your credit score can stink. So there's things like this. And what is this? What is it yielding right now? Hold on. Important question. 4%. Right there. 4% dividend. They yield. They've been paying this thing for 25 years. Haven't missed a beat. In 25 years, there's been a lot of drawdowns. Keep in mind, you're talking about the .com bubble, 9/11, the Great Recession, real estate crash. Paid the dividend every single quarter through all that. And by the way, so has AT&T. P.S. In fact, AT&T has paid their dividend for 60 straight years worth of quarters. 60 years. And they also have a history of raising. So that's one thing, alternative to cash. You want to talk about stocks, but it's something, it's something. I'm just trying to give you some ideas. Research these things on your own. A lot of people asking me about this. If you don't own your primary residence and you have the ability, the capacity to purchase, 100% look into this. Okay. Remember, when you do that, when you actually go and you get pre-approved, and you can contact me to get pre-approved, get you pre-approved, go look at what's on the market. Let's run some numbers. Let's see what makes sense. If you're paying $28,000, $3,000, $3,200 a month in rent, let's see. What can you find? Is there something that's a better investment for you? If we know we're just at the precipice, we're just entering a hyperinflationary situation in which the government is starting to admit it. Warren Buffett has told us, hey, we're seeing big inflation. That's what he said. I can't remember exact words, but very substantial. That's what Warren Buffett said yesterday. Very substantial inflation we're seeing. Janet Yellen says we may have to raise rates. That's how bad the inflation is getting. We have to raise rates. That's how you combat it. If the Fed wanted to really stop inflation, they could just raise interest rates. Raise them 2% overnight, and you'd probably put a pretty big fork in it. But I don't see them doing that. So should you look at buying real estate if you don't own any? Yes. What if you can't qualify? Then just buy something like this. O. Buy something like O. This simple stock here, real estate investment trust, pay their dividend for 25 straight years. You can buy something like that, buy something, the other 5 stocks I talked about. Should you buy cryptocurrency? I think it's a good idea to be diversifying cryptocurrency. Note, a lot of people are becoming millionaires in cryptocurrency. Note that the futures definitely involves cryptocurrency. Note that we have about a 1% or less adoption rate in cryptocurrency. What is it going to look like when it's a 43% adoption rate? What are those prices going to look like? What do you think? Think they'll be pretty much the same or drastically higher? It's time to reset your thinking, the way that you're looking at your investments, the way you're looking at your money. It's time to reset that because the whole thing's changing. The whole thing's getting blown up. It's all changing. The government's spending way more money than all the businesses make in the country. And they've got the money printer going brrr. So something's got to change. If you're in hard assets, you're going to be better off than if you're not. I really feel bad for people who are, let's say, renting with not a lot of savings. That'd be bad, okay? Make some changes. Do what you need to do. Don't settle for where it's at. Look for something better. If you need to get into a cheaper rental so you can save some money, do it. Don't just talk about it. Plan it out. When is the lease over? Where are we going to go? Figure it out. You need to team up with people. You need to have roommates. Do what you need to do. Don't get left so far behind here because things are about to race off like crazy. Okay, this is the most aggressive, the rich get richer scenario that you could possibly imagine. So especially for, teammates out there who feel like you're on the lower rung of the financial ladder, this is where you need to take action. This is where you need to make changes right now because it's not too late. This rampant hyperinflation will really start to get ugly in, a year or two. That's when you'll see prices. Home values in San Diego could be double what they are today. And everyone would say the same thing they're saying today. Prices are so high, it's crazy. They say the same thing. It's crazy. People are out of their minds. This is what buyers are saying. People are out of their minds. Just the beginning of the inflationary cycle. I hope they can stop it. I really do, team, but I just don't know how they're going to. It's so big. There's so much money in the room. It's just going to be tough. So we did get the reprieve from yesterday on rates. Lock your rates. That's all I can say. If you're looking to refinance, 100%, get in there and pull the trigger. Get your rate locked. Do it now. Don't wait. And I could be wrong, but if I'm right, it's ugly going the other way. So hedge your bets here. Take the decent rates that we've got right now. If you're out there purchasing, listen, you don't get to really choose this, right? When you find the right home and you get in contract, then you get to look at this. Until then, you just have to hope for the best. And when you get in contract, if rates have spiked and you're like, this doesn't make sense anymore, you can always back out. You got plenty of time to do that. So don't worry too much about rates when you're shopping for a home. But as soon as you get that contract accepted, we need to talk right away. You need to make a game plan. You need to have a lock strategy. You need to know how this works. You need to look at the charts. You need to determine the time frame that we have before we absolutely have to lock. Look at that window and see what's possible. What is the risk reward going to deliver for us? And that's the kind of conversation we need to be having. All right. I got work to do. I got to get back to it. Thanks for tuning in. Share this video with your friends. Let's help make them smarter than everyone else. And don't forget to say hi every once in a while, team, out there on Facebook and YouTube. And I will see you again soon.